Honorable Minister's statement. My major concern is on the water policy of this country. Honorable members, if we don't have a comprehensive water policy to supply the country, we are going to still be in lack forever. This would help us have an accountability from government, like we are accounting for the schools, that there is a policy, each primary school, each sub-county should have a secondary school. This should be the same thing if we have a comprehensive water policy supply in the country. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, water for agriculture is very important. We are talking about coffee, we are talking about improving our crops, but we do not have water for agriculture, for production. And honorable members felt a bit comfortable when it was raised among the 7 pillars of the parish development model. But unfortunately, it has been put aside. It's only the financial pillar that is being pushed forward. So we are giving people money and we are not empowering them to invest their money. When drought comes, we will see no more the money we invested in our people because there is no water for production. We are improving these seeds, and the repercussion or the effects of these improved seeds has already been discussed by several members. They cannot regerminate. So what assurance are you giving this country about the supply of these seeds? Because in a long run, we are going to create food insecurity instead if we cannot supply these seeds. Do we have a budget that is going to be assuring us that we shall have steady supply of these seeds to the country? Because as Uganda, that's the biggest security that we've had for a long time, having not to be supplied food or food crops or seeds. Lastly, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable.
Kindly, Honorable Speaker.
No, you don't switch on and then say kindly. Conclude.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. The issue of silos, we've talked about it several times, that let us buy these seeds in a peak season, harvesting season, and let them be supplied back when the season is done. But this has not been happening, and we pass supplementaries to buy food very expensively from the neighboring countries. And lastly, when we are improving these seeds, let's put in consideration the different regional climate changes. Because what works in Karamoja will not work in Rakai, will not work somewhere else. Honorable Speaker, lastly, we requested for dams in the country. Members of Parliament, we are pumping money into our constituencies to dig dams for water for supply, and even use at home. So the water issue in this country needs a comprehensive policy. Thank you so much.
Honorable Amos Okot.
From Laropi Ferry at Laropi landing site in Mo district. This is because the ferry uses only one engine. And Right Honorable Speaker, you remember just 1 month ago, the ferry was serviced, the engines were serviced, and as I talk now, there's only one engine that is working. Apart from that, passengers were advised to use the longer route via Obongi as a temporary alternative route. Others have opted to using local boats, which are also risky. Our prayers, Mr. Speaker. Can the ministry replace or service the 3 remaining engines which got spoiled? And secondly, Honorable Minister, please, can we fast track the bridge construction process across the Nile at Laropi in Moyo district? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Works. Thank you, Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker, indeed the ferry of Laropi had been serviced, and to the best of my understanding, we had thought it is functioning very normally. It is unfortunate that the teams, the marine units that are handling it there could have had a collapsed engine but did not communicate to the headquarters. I want to beg that the House allows me to inform the department responsible for supervising so that this is rectified. As for the bridge across the river, we are at very advanced stages of working on that river, on that bridge, so that once that is concluded, then we shall relocate that ferry elsewhere. So we are at very advanced stages.
Thank you. Honorable Kwizera Wagahungu.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable members, the government has a policy in education where every sub-county should have a government-aided secondary school. And the Constitution of Uganda, Article 21, says all citizens are equal. In Wichimbiri County, we have 7 sub-counties, but 4 of the sub-counties don't have government-aided schools. So I think that is in a violation of both the Constitution and people's rights. My prayer is that the government should come out to inform us how they are going to solve that problem. I thank you.
No, Minister, Government.
Right Honorable Speaker, I think colleagues, we are all aware that we've been getting new districts and new sub-counties. So we have those districts that had just been created, whereby we have to put in our budget to say that they are also allocated schools, government-aided schools, and sometimes seed schools. So have to liaise with the Ministry of Education to see their program on those districts or sub-counties that are still new and those that are supposed to get the government-aided schools. But I know it is a policy and every sub-county is supposed to get to be with that school.
Honorable Wakori, rarely are you? Yeah, please, Honorable Wakori.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am Wakoli and I represent the people of Utilu. This is a very important house and this must be a factual house. When the Prime Minister comes on the floor of Parliament and he answers, she answers to what the Honorable colleague has just put across, with running away from the fact saying that some districts were just created yesterday. Right Honorable Speaker, I come from Manafa, and Manafa I think was created in the year 2005. Where I come from, Right Honorable Speaker, in Butiru constituency, I have 2 sub-counties without a primary, without a secondary, and about 7 sub-counties without health center 2s or health center 3s. Yet it is government policy in regards to health that every sub-county must have a health center 3 and every constituency must have a health center 4. Is it in order, Right Honorable Speaker, for the Right Honorable Prime Minister to come here and blush and run away from the question put across by the member with just saying that some of the districts were just created yesterday? I think we need to be factual. You need to tell the country that as government, we have policies, but these policies, perhaps we do not have money to implement what the policies say, other than coming and saying districts were created yesterday. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, Right Honorable. Yes, I think you've concluded very well. Because these policy positions, they need to be financed. Okay? The pace might not be that quick, but we know here when we are appropriating, we know we have sub-counties without electricity, please. Sub-counties without water, sub-counties without a health center, sub-counties without schools, and we keep doing each financial year. Okay? So Committee on Education, please take it up, take up that, and when you're addressing issues to do with the sector, you follow up on the matter. Colleagues, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students from the African Leadership University, Kigali, Republic of Rwanda. They've come to observe proceedings of this house. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Honorable Nyandoha.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise on a matter concerning the Masindi to Biso Road 50 kilometer section, which has taken more than 4 years to be completed. As we speak currently, There's a section at kilometer 14 to kilometer 23, which goes through Kavango Town Council. It's very impassable, and it has affected business between Masindi and Blissa. On the same road, which is 50 kilometers, 10% of the section has not been acquired in terms of right of way, and it's going to extend the construction of the road. At the same time, this delay may cause us losses as a government in terms of expenses occurred as a result of the delayment of the project. Currently, the work is at a near standstill, as workers on that road have almost laid down their tools, and here are my prayers that the government, Ministry of Works, with its agency UNRA, undertake to expedite the completion of the road and attend urgently that section that goes through Kavango Town Council, which has caused business to a standstill. I submit.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable, I have just been with the committee, the Parliamentary Committee of Infrastructure, and my attention was drawn to the number of roads that where work is ongoing, and again the speed may not be to the expectation of the members. I have directed UNRA to give me a summary of all those roads, but unfortunately this one was not captured. I am happy that now it has been raised here. It should be included, so UNRA briefs us about the scope of work, the progress of work, and the challenges they're encountering, so that we can see how to address them.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, in the VIP gallery, we have Honorable Adong Lidi, former woman member of parliament in the 9th and 10th parliament, who represented Noya district. Honorable Adong Lidi has just completed her clerkship, LDC clerkship at parliament. So you can see, honorable colleagues, when you don't make it to the next parliament, once you're well prepared, you move on strategically. So she has just completed, and I want to congratulate her. Yes, thank you. Now, colleagues, I can see we have 34 matters which you're raising, and now my rule is simple. The moment we reach 3 p.m., we move to the order paper. Then on every Thursday, we shall be invoking Rule 26, Rule 4 of our Rules of Procedure, where we give you 2 hours to address your matters. So next item.
Item number 3, bills first reading.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Animal Feeds Bill 2023 be read for the first time. And I beg, Honourable Speaker, in accordance with the Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rule 118 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to lay on table a certificate of financial implications for the Animal Feeds Bill 2023. So both the bill I lay on table and the certificate of financial implications I beg to submit.
Thank you.
The
This
Animal
seconded.
Feeds Bill 2023.
Sorry. Thank you. I can see. Where's second? Thank you. Government Chief Whip Mushemeza Museveni Sirwanyi Kutesa. Thank you.
Item number 4, statement by ministers.
No, just wait, clerk. The bill is referred to the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries for consideration and report back within 45 days in accordance with Rule 129 of our Rules of Procedure. Next.
Item number 4, statement by ministers. Item 4.1 on the commemoration of the World Food Day.
Honourable Minister for Agriculture.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, Uganda joined the rest of the world to commemorate the 43rd World Food Day on 16th October 2023. This year's event was celebrated at the National Coffee Research Institute in Kituza, Mukono, under the theme, Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable members, as you may be aware, every 16th day of October of every year, the global community joins together to celebrate the World Food Day, calling on everyone, government, academia, civil society, private sector, and individuals from the various sectors of society to rally against hunger and build sustainable food security. The event raises awareness and action of those who suffer from hunger and for the need to ensure food and nutrition security for all. World Food Day also coincides with the founding of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, which is one of our key partners. This year's event and theme, Right Honorable Speaker and members, was celebrated under the theme, Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind, recognizing that water is essential for life on Earth. Water makes up over 50% of our bodies and covers about 71% of the Earth's surface. However, only about 2.5% of the water is fresh and suitable for drinking, agriculture, and most industrial uses. While fresh water remains a critical driving force for people, for economies and nature, and the foundation of our food, like any other resource, it's not infinite. With the increasing population and human activity as well as climate changes, water resources are increasingly under stress. It is no wonder that over 2.4 billion of the global population is living in water-stressed areas. It is for this reason, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, that the Ministry of Agriculture is promoting climate-smart, sustainable agriculture by placing emphasis on optimal use of water resources. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, you are aware that water is integral to our production processes, and this is also mirrored in the Ministry of Agriculture efforts to increase on-farm water access to as many water-stressed areas as possible so that our people are not solely dependent on rain-fed agriculture. National celebrations and how they went. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, as earlier highlighted, national celebrations were held on the 16th of October at the National Coffee Research Institute at Kituza Mukono. The main event was preceded by a number of activities, including the coffee night, recognizing the importance of coffee to Uganda, and aimed at promoting the coffee drinking culture among Ugandans. Before we look to external markets for our coffee, we need to boost a sustainable domestic market. The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries was joined by a number of key partners, stakeholders, including the European Union, the Food and Agriculture Organization, World Food Programme. We also had colleague members of Parliament led by the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Agriculture and MAIF agencies, especially NARO, that was the host, and UCDA. A number of exhibitions were organized showcasing research and value-added products like coffee, cocoa, rice, millet, sweet potatoes, as well as simple machinery. I commissioned on behalf of the Vice President a multipurpose coffee and cocoa laboratory funded by government of Uganda at a cost of 5 billion at Kituza to provide permanent solutions to pests and diseases as well as other constraints affecting production and productivity of the two crops. Major highlight of the day, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, on the same day, we witnessed the release of new crop varieties successfully developed by our NARO scientists. I call this a major highlight because it's usually a great breakthrough for researchers. Just like it's only joy and happiness to a mother who delivers a healthy bouncing baby after 9 months of pregnancy, so it is for a researcher who spends a lot of time with countless hours in the lab, in the fields, and in trials, incubating, grafting, and testing a new crop variety. When such a variety is eventually tested and passes all the protocols as set by the National Variety Release Committee, which eventually gives it a permit for release, it becomes a great scientific milestone registered. This is always a great scientific breakthrough for researchers, for farmers, and the entire country. In line with this, NARO's focus is on producing climate-smart and resilient, early maturing crop seed varieties. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is these varieties that will sustain our food systems. The newly released varieties are two maize varieties, i.e. narrow maize 63 PVA, an orange maize breed rich in vitamin A, and narrow maize 64 STR with inherent characteristics of trigger resistance. 2 sweet potato varieties, i.e. narrow spot 6 and narrow spot 7. These have orange fresh, rich in vitamin A, and are suitable for food and confectionery industries, bread and cake making, and will reduce on wheat usage. And they can do import substitution. A new rice variety, Right Honorable Speaker, was developed under code KF20039, which is aromatic and adaptable in lowland areas. Lab pasture variety was released as a narrow Lab 1 with a high protein content and is expected to reduce on the ratio and or replace soya bean that has been dependent on as the main ingredient of livestock feed, yet very expensive, and has high competition for use as food for humans. But Honorable Speaker and colleagues, allow me to inform you that our agricultural research scientists under NARO are doing great innovations. They have developed products and prototypes that, if funded and fully commercialized, will solve the bottlenecks of different enterprises and their value chain stages. The Committee of Agriculture has visited some of the NARO stations and have been impressed with phenomenal innovations. I take this opportunity to invite the leadership of Parliament, Right Honorable Speaker, and all members to plan with us visits to these NARO stations so that you can see, you can believe, and support us in making a strong case for funding NARO. From policymakers to researchers to multipliers to off-takers to distributors to retailers and farmers who produce the various foods we consume, we each have a role to play in ensuring not only adequate but safe food for all. Together we can build sustainable food, feed and nutrition security. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, and I beg to submit. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I'll allow 30 minutes debate for this. And I'll start with Honorable Mshemeza, Honorable Muzari, Honorable Abel, Bungoko, and then our champion Nachon and Herbert. Then I come here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for his statement. I have observed that when we are discussing issues of rights, the tendency is to concentrate on civil and political rights and ignore socio-economic rights. Yet they are very important. The Minister's statement this afternoon touches on socio-economic rights, and the issue of food security attracts me, and particularly water. Water is life. Mr. Speaker, in Shema South, we are now engaged in producing liquid organic manure as an alternative or a supplement to the manures that are on the market like NPK. I want to invite my youth scientists through the minister to visit us in Shema South and study our experiment which we think are working that is going to enable PDM, because most of the soils in Uganda are tired. Look around, soils are tired. I welcome the idea of new varieties of seeds, but these seeds are not going to work if we don't address the issue of soil fertility. And we can address this without importing manure by making our own liquid organic manure. So I invite the scientists from MAIF to come and study our situation. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to address this important matter of food security and of socio-economic rights.
Thank you. Honorable Muzari.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the statement. Honorable Minister, in the financial year 2020 to 2023, in the budget there was money. And as Kamuli district, we received 6 billion. But because there was an element of contribution of 25%, half of the money came back to the center. So our appeal is that the 25% is high. We reduce it because irrigating our crops is very important, and yet our people cannot afford it. Second, Honorable Minister, as you talk about water, you realize that most of our schools, the population is high, and most of these schools share with the communities boreholes. And it's becoming a little bit a problem, because you find that the communities are also big, sharing the same borehole. Yet we can put tanks on these schools, do water harvest, and save a lot of money and time and the burden for students to go out of schools premises to fetch water. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Abe.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I thank the Minister for the report. To begin on a note discussing the issue of the water, how I wish the Minister for Water was in the House. MPs are exhausted with repairing boreholes in our constituencies. What is the ministry doing to ensure that these boreholes are maintained? What plans do we have for constructions of new boreholes? If we are going the pipe water way, when are we covering these other areas that we have not yet reached? Otherwise, we are using money from our pockets to repair boreholes. Maybe there should be a budget we can allocate within the ministry to assist. Secondly, on issues of seeds, I am very happy and proud about the interventions by the researchers. Indeed, we would embrace developing these seeds. But Honourable Minister, we shouldn't also forget the fact that some of our local seeds were also very important. We should not destroy them. They are more resistant, and our local people were used to that. So we can, as we look at doing research to bring in new seeds, let's not kill the old ones that we had. Lastly, Honourable Minister, the issue of storage to handle the challenges of these aflatoxins. Our farmers cannot qualify even in the East African market because of how we store our products. So if they spend time in the gardens and they can't sell what they have, then we will not be addressing the challenges they have. Can the ministry also look at planning for the future? We can introduce maybe a project to set up stores in all the sub-counties so that we can address some of these challenges. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable John Face. Then Honourable Chon.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the statement on the World Food Day. In a country where malnutrition and acute malnutrition and food insecurity is standing at 18%, particularly in the northern and eastern Uganda, I could have really expected that the minister brings out clearly the ways how we are going to ensure food security. Where is the issue pertaining to storage, to food silos, where there is a lot of food produced at one season, and it is all eaten at once, or given at a thrown away price, and in a few months, people have been plugged back into acute malnutrition and hunger. I expected that statement to be very clear in our country on a World Food Day. Secondly, the quality of agriculture inputs, Right Honourable Speaker, is an issue. We have a community, a farming community. And this farming community, each day they are buying inputs to improve on their production. But most times, these agricultural inputs, particularly the fertilizers, they are not genuine. How is this matter being addressed in the sector of agriculture? And finally, Right Honourable Speaker, we have a program of the PDM. The PDM is anchored on agriculture mainly. And a few months to come, there is going to be overproduction. What is the plan, the marketing strategy?
Thank you. Honourable Chon.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I would like to thank Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister, as we celebrate the World Food Day today, Honorable Minister, I wish you would have a chance to go in some of the district, villages, or the community. As we talk, you know, Uganda, we are so blessed. And it's a country where God loved so much. Honorable Speaker, as we talk now, in Utuke, when they buy maize seeds, a kilo was 40,000 shillings. But as now they harvest, they're selling at 600 shillings a kilo. A kilo of seeds of maize was 40,000 shillings the time the farmers were buying. I want to repeat. But now, have the harvesting season has begun. They're selling a kilo at 600 shillings. You look at now, where are we going to head? And now in December, you will find the entire country, we are running food shortage. I also would like to appeal to the Ministry of Water. It is a big challenge. You know, some of the communities still in this country, there are people who have never seen even a clean water at all in their village. There are people who have been drinking even this local swamp together with animals. So we really need to work on this, Honorable Minister. We talk about the promotion of agriculture. Uganda, we do best in farming coffee. If you look even in Parliament here, to get a coffee here in Parliament, if you want to drink, is like getting a blood donation. You can't even find coffee, Honorable Minister. It's hard to get coffee here for drinking. But we are promoting coffee, it's true.
Thank you. Honorable Taewa Habat, and then Honorable Sarwani.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want also take the opportunity to thank the Minister for the statement. Right Honorable Speaker, my interest is on the various varieties of maize which our good researchers have come up with. I want to thank them. Right Honorable Speaker, we have been getting different hybrids of maize, but more especially coming from Kenya. And these ones are being traded by very few seed dealers. But now that we are making more different varieties which are disease resistant, my appeal to the Ministry of Agriculture and NARO is to encourage very many dealers who would actually multiply these seeds so that these seeds can be sold to farmers at a reasonable price. Apparently, the seeds are going for between 10,000 and 20,000 a kilo. And farmers were interested because the maize prices were high. Now they are going low. I'm very sure most of them will not afford if they remain so. Therefore, could the Ministry of Agriculture increase or multiply the number of companies involved in seed multiplication and at a reasonable cost so that farmers can access? I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Serwanyi, Honorable Awas, Honorable Kajwenje, Honorable Kwaringa.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for his statement. And specifically, I want to talk about genetically modified products, the GMOs, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as we talk about food, we are today in our country, you find that everything that we are talking about when it comes to food is genetically modified. Almost 80%. Right Honorable Speaker, even when you look at the seeds we are giving to our farmers from the maize seeds.
There's a point of order.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for allowing me to raise this point of order. My colleague who has been holding the floor is trying to mislead the House and mislead Uganda that most of the crops and the plants that we are right now growing are GMO products. And even claims that it's about 80%. The fact is that Uganda hasn't yet signed the GMO protocols. Our researchers are trying their best to improve our local seeds and plant products through the breeding processes of existing genomes in our system. Is it in order for my colleague to stand on the floor of this house and mislead the country with unfounded facts, which are hearsays and have no basis at all? Is in order.
Thank you. Now, and he's a commissioner. No, honorable colleagues, I think we just need to be cautious when we are stating issues here, when we are debating, because the Hansard is a credible source of information, because people believe that what we say here is credible, and we are legislators, and it must be backed up by evidence. So, honorable, statistics of Bujiri don't apply here. I request you, when you state some facts, especially to do with figures, then you state the source. It becomes easy. So let's be cautious.
Yeah. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Minister, the Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, has just guided me that the difference between GMO and improved seeds. So I was actually talking about improved seeds and hybrids. So, Right Honorable Speaker, and the Honorable Minister has guided me very well.
So I would
Right
request you next time before speaking, you seek guidance.
Right Honorable Speaker. So I was talking about the seeds specifically, Right Honorable Speaker. Like when you look at the seeds that we are giving our farmers, from the maize seeds, Right Honorable Speaker, they cannot be reused. That means farmers have to buy seeds every season. For example, Right Honorable Speaker, when we were giving maize seeds, when we used to give maize seeds as members of parliament, you could give seeds almost every season, because the seeds that farmers grow cannot be replanted. What is the strategy that the ministry is going to use, that the ministry is going to do, so that we get seeds that we can use and reuse again? Because if farmers have to buy seeds every time they are planting, this is not sustainable. Our farmers are in pain. Our people are in pain because of this process of having to purchase. You have to go to the shop to buy seeds. Once the crop is grown, you cannot do anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Our honorable colleagues in the public gallery this afternoon, we have pupils and teachers of Jinja Central School from Jinja District. They are represented in Parliament by Honorable Batua Timothy and Honorable Katari Roy. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. Honorable Waslivia.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister of Agriculture for his statement, but I wanted to bring to the attention of Ministry that the quality of seeds that were supplied to Karamoja, mostly in Abilatuk district, were not of good quality. Sorghum up to now was planted in the month of April. It has not matured up to now. It is still in the gardens. And I want to invite the minister to go with me to Nabilatuk, and he proves this with his own eyes. So my prayer is that let the ministry normally try to test the seeds that they are receiving from suppliers. Honorable Speaker, what we are getting is a mix of quality and poor quality crops that we got in Abilatuk district. So I'm requesting the ministry, if they want to prove this, I go with them and we take the photographs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kajenje, and then Honorable Okwalinga.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I have listened to the articulate presentation of the statement from the Minister of Agriculture, and appropriately themed as water is life and leave no one behind. My worry, Right Honorable Speaker, is that my constituency, Nyabushozi, that has persistently been water strained is going to be left behind. And that's the reason I'm bringing this one up. Over time, 3 generations ago, about 20 communal dams were constructed in Nyabushozi.
And these are Rwabijemano, Rugonji, Karo, Chakabunga, and Chizeramire, and Kanyanya. They are communal water granaries. They have been a source of the production that is seen now. But they have now been silted. I wanted to know from the Minister of Agriculture the plan and programs for such a communal water granaries to be desilted, cleaned, and fenced, so you can have a basis for water for production, for irrigation, and production of crops. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kwaringa.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the Minister for Agriculture for the statement that he has made regarding the World Food Day. How I wish a day in our country when we shall have people no more hungry in the streets. When this statement is made, I reflect on my daily journey driving along the streets of Kampala, and I witness kids, my relatives from Karamoja, children begging in the streets for food. They even ask for leftovers that they peep in your vehicle. They see a leftover of biscuits, and they beg leftovers of water. How I wish a day shall come when a responsible government will recognize, I'm talking about world governments anywhere, will recognize that this day as we celebrate World Food Day, let us donate food for such a category of children. How I wish a day when families that are well endowed with resources stop pouring their food, but instead donate food to such children. How I wish a day when we shall promote giving packets of milk.
Honorable, how I wish you could conclude. Thank you.
Can I conclude?
Honorable Atuto Jacinta, Honorable Bashisha, Honorable Senu, Honorable Nzima, Honorable Kinyamatama, Honorable Court. We stop there, we go to another statement. Colleagues, we have very many statements. You will contribute on other statements.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to appreciate the Minister for his report. My main concern would have gone straight to the effects of climate change. We all know that before you think of agriculture, in the agriculture sector, we have to talk about climate change. And as you know, climate change is one of the challenges that we are facing today globally. And it affects countries that are less resilient, such as Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, I would have loved the Minister to have stated clearly what comprehensive strategies have they developed in order to ensure that our agriculture remains in the resilience phase of the backbone in the climate pattern. Because what I know, we have to consider working on ways to fight the issues of climate change. We have to train or to create awareness to our farmers, as the Minister had already said, on the issues of smart agriculture. But what does he mean by smart agriculture? Our farmers don't know. So I beg the Minister to include clearly on his report
developments have they put in place in order to combat this, the issue of climate?
Thank you. Colleagues, I want to take this opportunity to recognize the presence of Her Excellency, the Vice President, who is in the house. And she was here with us yesterday, the whole day. So even tomorrow she's going to be with us. She hasn't consulted with the speaker about tomorrow. So, yes, colleagues, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have teachers and prefects of Sir Apollo Kagwa Boarding Primary School, Old Kampala, Kampala Central. They are represented by Honorable Muhammad Nsereko and Honorable Malende Shamim. They've come to observe proceedings of this house. Please join me in welcoming them. Can stand up for recognition. Very smart. Future leaders. Sure. Honorable Juliet Washisha.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for the statement. I also want to add my voice on my colleagues, Honorable Lillian and Honorable Sirwanyi, on the protection of our indigenous seeds. Sometimes some of these research seeds that come to our market, there is a way they come with their jealous habits. For example, there are some banana species that were introduced in Ankole. Wherever they went, they would chase away all our indigenous banana plants. And in addition, on maize seeds, they are tasteless. Sometimes, I'm sorry, I don't want to earn myself a point of order, but compared to the indigenous seeds, the maize that we get from our research teams, they are not as sweet as our indigenous seeds. So I request that as we support the researchers, we need to get the way of improving our soils so that we support our indigenous crops, because usually the seeds are recycled and we don't get pressure from the farmers to bring them seeds during the planting season. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Senu, Honorable Nzima.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to take this time the Minister of Agriculture for that wonderful report on what happened on the World Food Day celebrations. The issue that I want to tackle is the issue of food security. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that that concept is different in this country. Food security in Kampala, in central Uganda, western Uganda, is not like what you have in northern Uganda, in Karamoja, and in eastern. The ministry has a daunting task of helping areas of this country which don't have any perennial crop to supplement their annual incomes. Number two, areas with cycles of floods and droughts. And finally, the challenges of insecurity in Karamoja and the surrounding areas, which affect productivity and the marketing of these products, coupled with the question of providing value addition to these crops. I want to ask the ministry, for a place like Kapelebyong and such districts, to come down and we sit and find out how best can we help the farmer in Kapelebyong who has to work 3 times in a year, first season, second season, in between the second and third season, to work and produce food when he has no money, has no capital, has no market. For us, it is a huge and a daunting task, and I want to request him that he works with the minister and our districts to find a way forward. So it's a matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Geoffrey Nzima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the minister for the statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have had a lot of challenges, particularly food insecurity brought by drought. Many times we sit here, talk about government approving supplementary to feed some of our citizens. And this has always been caused by drought. We had made a proposal to government that
government must construct dams to sort this issue out. And from the minister's statement, the issue of water is also one of the issues he has talked about. I will wish to get an update from the minister on this particular situation because it has been a recurrent situation. The second issue is about, I was watching news and also an international, I think, conference where they were talking about issues to do with the food and also food security vis-a-vis the quality of food that we should eat. There was an issue raised about a weed controller, which they call Roundup. And according to them, it is a very dangerous weed controller that causes cancer, liver failure, and the rest. I will want also to get an update from the minister whether we have such in the country, because if it is there, it is a risky one. The third issue is an issue to do with the quality of our products, particularly food items. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have had serious issues where one day they said maize which was supplied to South Sudan was stopped at the border because the quality was questionable. And the same also applied to Kenya. We have never had any report from government to explain whether these were mere claims or they were facts.
Thank you. Honorable Kinyamatama, and then finally Honorable Amosoko.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I first of all want to appreciate the...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister so much for the report that he has given us. And during those days when we were still young, there were days that people remember. And one of them is all about World Food Day. And the moment you talk about World Food Day, prior to the day to come, there would be a field day and a field visit where all pupils and students surrounding those where the function will take place, they will go to learn several good knowledge that would help them. Mr. Speaker, you are aware that much as we talk about water as being life and water being food, and we are talking about World Food Day celebration, there's a problem coming next year. We have been talking about this year because of lack of food. We have experienced, especially to the schools which are embodying food, grains, and beans were not easy to get. And I want to implore the minister to take keen interest in the following thing. One, when you see food move. And if food cannot reach either Kenya or one of Kenya coming to Uganda, that is another challenge, which I want him maybe to consider strengthening the regional cooperation in that line. However, also, we have problems of extension workers in this country. In the last budget that we passed here, whenever you go to any districts, people cry that there is no funding for operation for extension workers to go and train these farmers so that you get to know.
Please conclude. But next time, Chief Whip has advised you start with the conclusion.
Thank you.
So that you don't miss a big point.
Thank you. Our farmers need their capacity to be built in education. And agricultural extension is another way where we have to help, and so that in a way they can be in position to adapt to this changing climate which is affecting us. And then the promotion of renewable energy. Of course, all those are key issues that help us so that in a way we promote food, because it is only food. If we have food, then even our health can be granted.
Thank you. Her Excellency the Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like also to thank the Minister for his informative statement. I have three concerns which I would like to notify the minister about, but Mr. Speaker, it is just a reminder to the minister. One of them is that he has stated very clearly that his scientists, through NARO, have developed products and prototypes to support the agricultural value chain, and I want to support him for that and thank him for that. But let me bring to your attention, through Mr. Speaker, Minister, that we have waited for so long for the anti-tick vaccine. And if you wish, Mr. Minister, you may find time and update this House on the progress of the development of the anti-tick vaccine, because we have done budgeting for that specific item for many subsequent financial years. And honorable colleagues, you may wish to note that this is a very important development that we are looking forward to, because 3/4 of our country depends on livestock. Secondly, Mr. Minister, through Mr. Speaker, I would like also to remind you to accelerate your efforts on regulating and controlling acaricides. And I'm saying this in relation to the food that we eat, because we eat meat and we drink milk from the cows, and they are...
Switch on, Your Excellency, switch on.
In conclusion, Honorable Minister, check that when we drink milk, it should not have been contaminated by acaricides or even the meat. So we would like to get a clear picture from you, Mr. Minister, that the milk and the meat we eat is not contaminated by the acaricides, which are counterfeits. Thirdly and finally, Mr. Speaker, I would like to re-echo the issue of post-harvest handling, which more often than not we have spoken about in this House, but it does not translate realistically to the energy we give when we are speaking about it on the ground. So I am here to support you, Mr. Minister. I know we sit in the same cabinet, but it was very important that I raise these issues to you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President. And of course, you're a member of Parliament in your own right, so issues of your people. But Honourable Minister, just allow me to add on one point, which is of course related to the one which members had raised on quality of acaricides, pesticides, and all that. Honourable Minister, it was brought to my attention in one of the engagements which we are having with the EU under ACP EU, Afro-Caribbean Pacific, and EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly, that there are pesticides which are banned in the European Union but allowed to be exported to third world countries like Uganda. They are manufactured in the European Union. They know they are bad. They cause cancer. They cause all kinds of, but they allow the manufacture on condition that you can't sell those pesticides in the European Union. They are just for export. Now, we raised it at EU level in the JPA, and it was a point of concern even for members of the European Parliament. But this continues. And in many countries like Kenya now, even efforts are being put in place to ensure that such pesticides don't enter into their country. If it's not good, if it's not feasible or good for your people, then it shouldn't be good, for others. It should also be considered dangerous for others. So you shouldn't be manufacturing it. So I wanted to also bring that to your attention, Honourable Minister, and see how best you can look at that. But as you come, the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of councillors from Bungoko North Constituency, Mbare District, represented by Honourable Dr. Magoro John Face and Honourable Mukaye Mariam. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Now, Honourable colleagues, one day, Honourable John Face, invited me. We spent a lot of time around Bungoko. We buried for Honorable Wandwasi. So I said, but why don't you take me to where you want me to go and meet your people? He kept daring, taking me around for a drink, meeting people, until it got a bit dark. So around 7 p.m., he took me to Mount Wanari to see the people. And all of a sudden, Kadod started. You know? Then someone told me, if you're not steady, Imbar is in the offing. I'm trying to see if there are some faces here who wanted to do an Imbar on me. I'm not seeing any, but they welcomed me very well. I want to thank you. Okay? Honourable Minister, I survived my own way. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, Her Excellency the Vice President, and honourable members. Thank you so much for your comments. I'll try and summarize them. Right Honourable Speaker, let me start with the comments of Her Excellency the Vice President. I want to thank you, Madam Vice President, for the support to the sector. With your guidance, I will bring a comprehensive statement to the House on the anti-tick vaccine. We had agreed with the committee that we deliberately don't talk much about it for some security reasons, which the committee is aware. But if you deem it fit, I'll give a report maybe after 2 weeks, such that Madam Speaker, I will brief you. Naro is being faced by challenges. Just listen.
Colleagues, I told you,
listen.
This house is led by a speaker.
We were advised.
Just Honourable Minister,
Yes.
they are disturbing you because you said Madam Speaker.
Oh.
No, it's okay. I always tell colleagues, this is
My
just
apologies.
very easy.
Yes.
But Honourable Minister, whenever you feel comfortable,
Yes.
especially if there are security concerns.
We were advised by the
you want
scientists
it,
that we should not keep updating at every stage. Some saboteurs may interfere, but the good news is that the final trials of the vaccine have been conclusively done, and the vaccine stands at 88% efficacy. This is much higher. This is much higher than the only one vaccine from Cuba on the market, which was commercialized at 50%. So it's a big. Her Excellency the Vice President is really proud of her government's achievement. That's why she wants us to. But we will bring the statement. And also the comment of Her Excellency the Vice President, it's really an issue of extension services. Yes, we have milk sometimes. When you inject an animal antibiotics, veterinary advisory tells you do not milk that animal or slaughter it until the withdrawal period is observed of, I think, 14 days. So it's a question of our extension services and ourselves popularizing this message, and I take heed of the advice. We shall popularize this. And Right Honourable Speaker, I want to inform you that Cabinet approved the idea of forming a food and agriculture authority that would be dedicated on issues of food safety. This authority will beef up UNBS as well as NDA in making sure that we are secure. Let me quickly run through the members' concerns. I will ask Naro to contact Honorable Mshemeza Professor to ensure that your liquid organic manure, first of all, is tested and approved before you use it, to ensure that what you are doing is okay, and I want to thank you for the innovation. Honorable Mzare, the money for irrigation, you know, which requires co-funding from the beneficiaries, is under a program called UGIFT. UGIFT, Right Honourable Speaker, is a basket fund in the Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance is the controlling agency. They send this money directly to the district culture we offer technical supervision. Yes, the policy requires 25% as a contribution of the beneficiaries for purposes of ownership. If you feel that's not forthcoming, we can review the policy and discuss with the Ministry of Finance and see. And we can give it out as a public good. But the idea was, when somebody contributes something, there is more ownership than the usual free goodies. Boreholes, my colleague, the Minister of Water, will talk to you about the plans for water for human consumption. Yes, but I know they are doing some great job there. The same applies to my sister, Honorable Lilian Aber. Yes, I also contribute to repairing boreholes, so I will also benefit when that comes. Now the question of seeds, local seeds, what we may call open pollinated varieties. Or when you hear those words, open pollinated, it means our local seeds, or land races. Now the scientists have been briefing me, and I can bring another statement, right, Honorable Speaker. The reason why they were forced to improve our local seeds to make them hybrids, it was because of trying to improve productivity. It was because of trying to ensure that we adhere and mitigate climate change. Unfortunately, hybrids cannot be replanted. We still have open varieties and run races, some beans somewhere, but the scientists don't encourage them because of low productivity and resilience to climate change. Now, here is the thing. Narrow.
Can I request ICT, please don't keep interrupting the minister. Let the minister conclude.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Narrow is doing a great effort. Right Honorable, when I was reading my statement, somebody interrupted your attention. I am inviting the leadership of Parliament to visit Narrow deliberately, because it is the source and the foundation of our food system. Listen to them, see what they are doing, explain to you in detail how they are improving our food systems, while at the same time ensuring biosafety considerations. But if you study the budget of Narrow, I'm not lamenting. We've not been getting enough support. And I want to thank Her Excellency, the Vice President. She's understood this and has been our champion to this end. That's why we've been able to get some money with her effort and your effort as Parliament of the Antique. So we need to support Narrow to produce more foundation seed. This leads me to the question of Honorable Tayebwa. The seed multipliers don't produce seed. They multiply seed. And for our safety, Narrow is the only source of foundation breeder seed. So if Narrow's capacity to give them more to multiply is not strengthened, then they will be struggling for the little on the market. It will give room for counterfeits. People who are bad and fraudsters will buy grain and sell it as seed when it cannot germinate. We'll be able to import more seeds from other countries. I don't have to mention them. So the solution lies in supporting our scientists. I want to thank HE, the President, because he improved their pay. Quite a number of them are now stable, but they will give us a solution. The more foundation seed they produce, the more input dealers will multiply and the cost of seed will go down. Honorable Magolo, silos and quality of input is the same story. Our authority and Narrow and UNBS will intensify. But colleagues, silos are necessary. But let me also tell you that we have some idle white elephant stores in the countryside. Today, this morning, I got a report from ISO complaining to me that many stores under CAIP, under NADS, in those districts are idle. So I am appealing to you to be vigilant in your constituencies. If there is a store, small, medium, or big, that was built for Group X and Group X is not utilizing it, let us know and we will reallocate it to those who are able to use it.
Honorable, can you give us a list of those stores? Because you might find some MPs don't know about these stores.
I will try to
especially
give
new
you, I'm going to give you a comprehensive report. But it's because we depend on the local governments. When we do them, we hand over to the local governments. And the farmer groups, they are the ones who give us the farmer groups. But sometimes we've found out that some of the farmer groups given are not serious. People select loose groups. Yeah.
Is there a difference between a silo and a store? Then if you are talking of those store where you keep and the things get rotten, they might not be of help, and yet they are built. They are just helped to correct, but not to store for the food security. I thank you.
No, you were seeking clarification. Let me clarify for you. Any facility built to store food, whether small size or big or medium, will offer some minimum protection to the crop. Yes. Silos are big ones with dryers. Some private sector people have invested in that. And those normally come in at the level of tertiary and secondary processing. That's where Ministry of Trade comes in. But for proper storage and post-harvest handling, you even start on farm, you go to the aggregation center with those mini stores. They are well done with dryers. So my concern, of course I don't blame anybody, I blame my own staff and our district staff for leaving them idle not to run them. So this is why we should all work together. Yes.
But Honorable Minister, I have limited time, okay?
Okay.
So please.
Through you, Chair.
Just one.
Thank you.
Only one clarification you've allowed, and then we stop. Thank
you.
On the stores, Right Honorable, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. On the stores, they are okay. I have actually 2 in my constituency. These stores were built, but they were not equipped. You are talking of dryers. You remember when we invited you to the Committee of National Economy? That was one of the sticker issues we raised. They were constructed, yes, but not fully equipped.
Okay, I agree. So we are doing a baseline. So that before we start on new ones, we functionalize the existing stock. Right Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, Honorable Chon wants me to visit villages and communities. Honorable Kapere Byong, I will visit, we will coordinate together. Honorable Tayebwa wants more seed. Yes, I made a case for this. Honorable Serwanya, I want to assure you that our seed is safe. Our seed is safe. You see, genetically improved is different from genetically modified. So what our researchers are doing are improving our local seeds. The parent line is our indigenous seed. So they improve it, they do hybrid breeding, and they get a high yielding variety. Honorable Kajwenje, yes, we can desilt the dams in Nyabushozi like we've been doing in some areas in Karamoja. But as you know, most of the areas, especially in southwestern Uganda, land is individually owned. You have fenced all your dams. So we'll have to discuss with you, what is your priority? More community dams or individual dams? Yes, and the reason why those community dams keep silting, because they are only used by people who graze animals along the road. But most people have their own dams. So we will come with the excavators, and if you think we are not only actually desilting those dams, it's reconstruction, because they were almost spoiled. So we will agree with you and your leadership on what best intervention. Honorable Kwalinga, he wishes to see a situation where people don't pour away food. But I also want to tell you, Honorable, that I wish to see more land opened up. So let's make a call for our people to work and work and work. 35%, Right Honorable Speaker, of land, arable is the only one we are using. The big chunk is still not used. That's why I need your support to give more tractors to open more land. Honorable Jacinta, what strategies for agriculture? Our emphasis is from research to increase the production to marketing and value addition, working together with the Ministry of Trade and our embassies abroad that look for markets. Honorable Bashisha, your comment is noted and it's like I had explained. Honorable Anthony, working with you, we can visit Kaprebyong. Honorable Nzima, part of our products is going to continuously be improved through improving on-farm agronomical practices and post-harvest handling. Honorable Kinyamatama, yes, Rakai is water stressed and we have agreed we will put an excavator in your area and Gomba for the farmers to dig dams. And finally, Right Honorable Speaker, once again I invite you and the leadership of Parliament to visit us at Nachesasa and at many other stations to see what NARO is doing and to seek your support. I thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Idi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise under Rule 42 of our Rules of Procedure. Right Honorable Speaker, I have listened to the Minister giving a report about agriculture. Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture has 3 sectors: the crop, livestock, and fisheries. But I've observed that the Minister has put much emphasis on livestock and crop, leaving alone a sector which really is very important as far as our economy is concerned. What strategies does really the Minister have? Because fish alone is food. We can talk about fish farming. How do we help our people to improve on fish production in this country? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, the statement was tailored to the theme of the day, and I only brought out the highlight, which was research breakthrough. But I want to assure I can come here, or my colleague, the Minister of State for Fisheries, who will present a statement on aquaculture development initiatives, as well as how we are trying to conserve wild capture fisheries. Thank you.
Thank you. No. Honorable, you want to guide you that clarification is when you have a member holding the floor. For now, we don't have any. And clarification is not allowed by this presiding officer. It's allowed by the member holding the floor. Okay? That's how the rules work. Honorable colleagues, Honorable Minister, I want to thank you. This was comprehensive. And really, the clarity you always come with. We miss you. Or bring more statements because you're holding a very important sector. So in case you have any statement, please always alert us. We want those statements. We don't want to always fast push you. And Madam Vice President, I had discussed with the government chief whip, and I had also discussed with the president some time back. And we had agreed that for cabinet information papers, okay? The moment you finish cabinet information papers, extract statements for Parliament. So that Parliament is brought on board. We would be addressing most questions, and it would be one good way. And I want to thank you, Chief Whip. Now I have many statements which are pending, which we are going to give priority. So I encourage you, Your Excellency, the Vice President. I know many come there, but for information papers, if you could always get for us statements for Parliament, so that as Cabinet is informed, Parliament is informed. Yours is guaranteed of our support on most of these issues. Honourable Minister, next week I'm visiting Naro, so please arrange. Chairperson Committee on Agriculture, Chairperson Committee on Budget, Chairperson Committee on Water, Natural Resources. I have some few experts in the agriculture sector, like Honorable Amos Okot. I can say everyone is trying to be an expert now. I'll conclude on the number, but next week, please let's alliance. Next week, I will read that team we visit you at Naro. Thank you. Next item.